Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking a cheeky look at 𝗲𝗓𝗏, specifically taking a look at the 5 reasons as to why we got involved with this project. These are just the top 5, there are many more, but ultimately this is a nice roundup of areas that we really focused in on before making an investment in 𝗲𝗓𝗏. And also, if you're looking at this project and considering it as an option for yourselves, then obviously do your research and really try to focus in on these 5 points, because ultimately they are key in everything that is happening here at 𝗲𝗓𝗏. So as always, if you find it useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it, as do I. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, Chris, with all that said and out of the way, shall we jump on over to the desktop and take a look at just why we got involved with this project?
Yeah, just before we do, don't forget to comment below, guys. Let us know what you think of 𝗲𝗓𝗏.
Fantastic, right. So ultimately, the very first reason as to potentially why to get involved with 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is basically the use case, right? So 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is basically trying to tackle that big issue around scalability. They have built their platform from the ground up with optimization in mind, and that's a key thing that you see with a lot of other areas as well. Something familiar for Cardano, obviously that was built up from the ground up, right? And not just like a carbon copy of an existing platform. So basically, 𝗲𝗓𝗏 uses a full stack approach, and 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is developing a sharding based blockchain, right? And that sharding based blockchain allows for that scalability and to basically prevent some of those issues that you might be starting to see with things like Ethereum. So it's a very good understanding of what's going on here. So it's not only scalable, it's going to be secure, or it is secure, and it's very energy efficient as it uses the proof of stake consensus. So there are, basically moving further forward, basically 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is an absolutely fantastic project for high throughput, low latency, and low fees, right? And basically the consensus mechanism on here, as I said before, was a proof of stake, or is a proof of stake. So basically, it is trying to be the power horse of the future economy. So they plan to address issues that are facing many ecosystems, such as high gas fees or the scalability issues and things like that. A technical focus of the project is on that sharding or resharding and the decentralized randomness and all that kind of good stuff. So in practice, 𝗲𝗓𝗏 helps businesses to basically build marketplaces for the fungible tokens, right? So this is where you get things like loyalty points and energy credits or in-game digital assets. And it, as I said before, uses that zero knowledge proof to basically enable data sharing and with consumer privacy. So from a use case point of view here, it has some really good, interesting perspectives that really do help drive things further forward. Specifically, if we start thinking about digital in-game assets, it becomes, something that really makes a lot of sense. So reason number 1 is really all about that use case and how it goes about doing it, in terms of sharding and things like that. But if we take a look a little bit deeper and go into our second reason, Chris, the second reason is all about the technology, right? And in order to achieve the goals that 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is basically set out for itself, of scalability, the entire technology stack from the ground up has been rebuilt, right? With a focus on optimization. They have built in a number of important innovations into their consensus protocol, internal systems, and network engineering. The implementation of these innovations, 𝗲𝗓𝗏 will provide a platform for decentralized applications, obviously the dApps that we all know and love, which were not feasible on other blockchains. So these include dApps such as decentralized exchanges, high throughput payment systems, and of course the Internet of Things transactions. So if we look at the consensus protocol within this technology scope as well, blockchains are obviously governed by a consensus, and the type of protocol used can dramatically change impact, I guess, the speed of the decentralized consensus, and the speed of the network, right? So currently, blockchains such as Bitcoin, they use things like proof of work consensus, right? And as we said before, we're using proof of stake, right? So and that's quite familiar with things. Lots of other kind of blockchains that we're familiar with also use proof of stake, right? So Harmony consensus protocol, which they call effective proof of stake, uses the latest design principles such as sharding and pipelining. So this kind of like allows the network to process numerous different transactions in parallel. Okay, and this is something, again, we talk about it with things like 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗧, right? They also do something similar. So this basically means that no single bottleneck, that basically those confirmations on those transactions, it's going to be very, very fluid. Essentially, a Harmony approach. Approach everything, with the connection latency is greatly reduced, and the transaction throughput can scale as the network grows. And again, very similar to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗧, right? So as you just add more shards, you can just add more transactions. So very, very good. And the network infrastructure, Harmony, basically they're implementing networking techniques that can improve the speed of message propagation and achieve consensus faster. So as stated in their white paper, well worth a read, Chris. I know we do love a white paper here. Basically Harmony uses 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 fountain code, which allows the network to propagate blocks quickly within the shard. So not only does Harmony shard its network nodes, it also shards blockchain states, which allows the inner scaling of all of these aspects, of storage, transactions, and machines. So very, very efficient at what they're doing. And it's a nice twist to what they're doing as well in comparison to a few other blockchains. So they can also adopt, a whole different subset of ways of working. So they can basically achieve cross shard transactions, which can scale logarithmically. So basically logarithmic. I can't even say the word, Chris. But basically, just think of it as cross-sharding transactions, and you'll start to understand just how complex this thing can actually be. So the infrastructure can, basically has been decentralized to avoid a single shard attack. So anyone who was concerned that, you might be able to attack one of these shards, it's been designed in such a way that the single attacks are very unlikely. It's been decentralized to avoid that single shard attack. And eventually the network basically, we're built to contain shards of 1,000 nodes in order to provide cryptographic randomness and to reshard regularly. And basically, I think currently, Chris, they're using 250 nodes within each shard, but the aim is obviously to get to that 1,000 shards where they can then, create that cryptographic randomness and reshard as needed. And so you get a lot of fantastic things here just within the technology. Now, I'm not going to go any deeper. We could talk about token economics and all those other things, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it there and just say, do some research on the technology, because what's happening over at One Harmony here, or Harmony One, is absolutely fantastic from a technology point of view. And that's always one of my major tick boxes, Chris, when we start looking at a project. Ultimately, the technology has to be evolving. It has to be the next level up. And it's good to see that something like Harmony One is definitely up there with some of these others, doing some very, very good stuff. So, Chris, that's going to take us to the third point then, the third reason as to why to get involved here, which is all about the team. Do you want to take everybody through what the team looks like?
Yeah, so I won't go into too much detail, but the team's really important, as we always say when we do our 5 reasons to invest in a particular project, and that's no different for Harmony One either. So you got Stephen, and basically he's worked at companies like Google as like a senior engineer, Apple, Mr. Lan as well, again working at Google. And I believe he was an engineer for the Play Store. Again, really well educated individuals like Sahil, coming from Harvard Business School. These guys they're not messing about. They're
No,
really not.
no. It's nice to see a really strong team, well knit, and also diverse in their backgrounds as well. So if we just look at that top level there, obviously, you have, as you said, Mr. Lan, right? He's published over 10 academic papers on, the spatio-temporal querying and map-based visualization. So, not, it's kind of minor papers in any degree. Obviously, Harvard Business School, absolutely prestigious. So absolutely fantastic knit team, some diverse backgrounds. So you can go through all of these, which is one of the things that we really like about, when you do investigate the team. It's nice to be able to go ahead and check out their LinkedIn profiles, check out their Twitter feeds, all that kind of stuff, right? And see what they have all been up to in the past, and how they got to where they are, what they're currently doing, and all those fantastic things. And it's really good to see that level of transparency here at the Harmony team as well.
Yeah, and one thing to add is, when they come from the sorts of backgrounds that they're coming from, in your senior leadership team, they're able to get their hands dirty. They know what they're talking about, which means they can bring the right people into the team to help push the project forward. So it's one of those things that we do look for, Nick, isn't it, when we look at team?
Absolutely, yeah. So that was our third reason, right? So we've investigated these guys. We were actually, really impressed with the team, and do recommend you do your own research, dig in, and see what you can find. We always look at the team. It's one of the key things that we have to look at. So moving on, Chris, that takes us to our fourth reason is to get involved with Harmony One here, and that's all to do with the partnerships. Do you want to take people through this? Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got some really big partnerships. So you've got Unify, you've got Music, Swoop, CSwap, just to name a few. You've got Ledger, for wallets, Trust Wallet, Math Wallet, again, just to name a few. I won't go over the exchanges, but the main one that's used is probably Binance, I would have thought. And Binance, they're also an investor in One Harmony. So again, I think for the price that this one is, the partnerships that they've got and the support sort of within the industry looks really bullish.
It really does, yeah. They've got some fantastic partnerships. They've got some good investors, and it's ultimately got good staking partnerships as well, which is good to see. Obviously, on some of these well-known wallets, which is fantastic, and exchanges. So it's important that we do some research into these things, like how easy is it going to be to obtain the one token? How easy is it going to be to liquidate if you needed to? So you make sure you obviously do look at the exchanges. Where you're going to hold it, is it a safe place to be holding this particular cryptocurrency? And it's good to see things like Ledger on that list. And likewise, you want to earn a passive income, so it's good to see that there is staking available, right? And obviously, partnerships and investors, you need to make sure that you personally are aligned to what those guys also align to, right? So it's fantastic to see such fantastic partnerships, investors, exchanges, and staking partners as well, which is really, really good.
Yeah, and it's really early days, Nick. So this one isn't even a cent yet, I believe, in price. So fantastic.
Which takes us, Chris, nicely over to our fifth point, which is all about price, in fact. So if we take a look at coin market cap here for Harmony One, we can see that as of recording this video, it is 0.07 cents, right? So less than 1 cent, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, we look at the circulating supply. There's 8.7 billion of them, with the maximum supply will ever be in existence of 12.6 billion. So that's really good to see. It means it's a lot lower than, or basically just over a third in comparison to things like Cardano, a tenth if you look at it from an XRP perspective, or a fraction of 20% or 20th of XLM, for example, right? So significantly lower volumes available. So this thing definitely has merit. It's also approximately over 50% of the maximum supply that Zilliqa has, right? And since things cross over quite nicely, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So if we take a look down here, we can see a little bit more detail, right? So we go down to that all-time high for this was actually at 3 cents. So that was 2 years ago on the 6th of June, 2019. Now that is basically pulls the price down to 75% of its value back then. So that's really interesting for a few reasons, just to make sure you have a mental note of what those all-time highs were and how easy it might be to actually push on past those. So we can obviously come back here and we can pinpoint this exact point here. And we can see, ultimately what the trading volume was on that particular day. We can see, what the price was, 2.8 cents, etc., right? So it's good to see bits of data like this, and obviously, you can work out what the market cap was at the time as well. How much money does need to flow in here to actually move that needle? And ultimately, at the minute, it's got a market cap of $64 million, right? So it's not exactly a lot of money flowed into this project yet. So I think there's going to be lots of upside to this as it evolves. And if we take a look at the chart for One Harmony here, we can see we've had massive movements recently as well, right? So our Fibonacci on here from the 31st of December up to the high point on the 9th of January, we can see that actually, it's done pretty well. We are up here. We need to cross over that 78% Fibonacci level. And once we do that, and it's going to trigger a bit of a rally upwards towards the first price target of 1.1 cents. And hopefully that will then gear it up to 1.5. 2 cents and then 2.3. So immediately we can see a bit of a roadmap for where this thing is potentially heading in the short term. And if we pull this back down, we can obviously see just how high it was in August here. And so this was 1.4 cents in August. Okay, and I'll mark that there because that's going to be an interesting point in the future, right? So we know that that's a bit of a milestone to be hitting. And obviously we have all of that history from when it first launched as well. So it's some good numbers, and some potential here for One Harmony. The technology is fantastic. The use case is fantastic. The team is fantastic. It's got some good, strong partnerships. And the price is very undervalued, at least at how I see it currently. You can definitely acquire quite a large sum of the one token, considering there's only going to be 12 billion of them. I think that's going to be fantastic. And I know we haven't brought it up as one of our points, Chris, but there is also some good, fantastic staking rewards available for One Harmony.
Yeah, so I stake and I get about 15% APY, which is just fantastic, really. You also get some really good deals on Binance from time to time as well. So yeah, really happy with the staking rewards that I get on One Harmony. Yeah, fantastic project. Super early for it, I feel. But yeah, I think this one is one that people are going to be talking more and more about in the coming months.
Absolutely. So guys, if you found this useful, informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. And I like to think that you really appreciate it too. And as always, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.